G'day, welcome to Mt.Coramba Apiculture. We're back at the Flowhive again, just going to open it up and see how they're going in relation to feeding. I've been asked how much should they be fed, and I'll just try and go through that in this video now. So this hive has had 3 lots of 4 litres of 2-to-1 sugar syrup put in it. So we'll see how they're looking now and see how that brood nest is going. And this will probably be the last time we feed them for a little while. So we'll just see how that's looking and whether we need to give them any more. So without any more delay, we'll get into them. So a little bit of smoke in the entrance. I can see pollen coming in, which is nice to see. It means they've got a bit of a brood nest going there, hopefully. This crown board off. So they look good. Bit of smoke. See what's in our feeder, and it's empty. So we'll probably fill that up one more time. That down there. So let's look through these frames and see how they look. That's heavy, and it's full of nectar, so that's a good sign. They're even starting to cap some. When I say nectar, sugar syrup. That looks good. Hopefully they'll have picked up the brood nest in here. Remember, they were starving, so they really had nothing to go on with. So this bit of sugar syrup in them will give them a new lease of life. And that frame is once again quite heavy and full of sugar syrup. You can even see a bit of white wax on top of the frames, which is a good indication. So we're starting to get into a bit of brood here, and I can also see a ring of pollen around that bit of cap brood, so that's good. They really didn't have much pollen in them at all when I first looked at them, and just that energy from that sugar syrup is enough to give them the get up and go to get out and get a bit of pollen. So that should pull them out of the downward spiral they're in. So we can see some nice seal brood there. It's not a lot, but yeah, we had a pretty heavy frost here this morning, so we're well into winter. There's our queen sitting up nicely there. Beautiful day today. It's the 8th of June 2022. We're having a beautiful sunny day, just amazing. So there's a patch of brood there, and I can see nice pearly white larvae around the outside. So they've definitely picked up from when we did that first inspection on them after the rain, and they're looking really nice. Frames are quite heavy with nectar, and once again a little patch of brood there, and I can see a little bit of stored pollen in there as well. So that's a good result. Heavy frame, full of sugar syrup. And that's given those bees the resources just to get out and forage for a bit of pollen and raise a bit of brood. So that's not quite full of nectar. It's quite an old frame too. It needs to come out in the spring. So what we'll do is give them one more feed. The question I was asked is how much should they be fed when you start feeding them. The answer to every beekeeping is, well, it depends. If you just want to give them enough to get them going, maybe a couple of lots of 4 litres, just enough to get some sugar syrup in there and rejuvenate them a bit and stimulate them to go out and get pollen. So in this case, I'm happy that they're right now, all those frames apart from the last one here are full of sugar syrup, and we're raising a bit of brood, bit of pollen in there. I can see pollen on the bees' legs here, so they're bringing it in. Not sure of the quality of it, but at least it's something to raise some brood and just to get them through the next 6 to 8 weeks of what we call winter here in mid-north coast. So I'll just shake those bees out, and I'll give them one more fill of 4 litres. They're down in there getting those sugar crystals. So once again, 2 to 1 mixture, it's quite thick. And that, I would think, will see them through the next 8 weeks. I'll check them again, but yeah, I don't think they're going to need any more. So the answer to how much should you feed them, well, until you think they've had enough, they certainly can't fit much more into this brood box. I'd never put a second super on and keep feeding them, because you'll end up with sugar syrup in your honey super, and you don't want that. So there's 4 litres going in there. So they look really good. Plenty of resources in there, bit of pollen and bit of brood being raised. We saw the queen and she's laying, so just even though we had a frost this morning, still got lovely warm sunny days, and I expect they'll be picking up about mid-July, and I would think we'll be adding a super, the flow super, on around about the start of August. So we'll just follow that through and see how it goes. But yeah, considering they were on the verge of death when we first looked at them after the rain, they're looking really good now. So they're well and truly on the mend.